Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
So, what is your name, where are you from, and what do you do?
Okay, my name is Jackie Goodall and I'm from Ireland, and I'm the founder and chairperson of the Ireland-Israel Alliance.
The Ireland-Israel Alliance. And what does the Ireland-Israel, the IIA, what does the Ireland-Israel Alliance do?
Okay, well, we are the pro-Israel support group in Ireland, so we advocate...
The pro-Israel...
Well, look, I'm not saying that there are no other support groups there. There's the ICEJ, the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem Irish branch. There are, there's a thriving Jewish community who, do their own stuff and that. But we kind of lobby the politicians, and we have a big social media presence. We're growing our YouTube channel.
What do you do on social media exactly?
Well, we have a Facebook account and a Twitter account and Instagram and YouTube. So we are sharing content and from sort of other pro-Israel groups and individuals. We write our own content as well, so we write blogs and we produce videos. I'm really trying to get into the video production more, because I know that people don't always have a very long attention span.
Right.
So, while they do like to read the odd article, like 3-minute videos or 1-minute videos is really good. So I'm trying to develop that. We bring speakers over from Israel and from Europe, whatever, and we invite them to speak to the supporters, and we try and maybe get them into the parliament to speak, like maybe lawyers or people who can
advocate for.
Absolutely. And we're hoping to take a delegation of politicians and media people out to Israel and to take them into the Jewish settlement areas of Judea and Samaria and East Jerusalem, and to show them the reality on the ground. So we do a lot of things.
Now, I didn't know this until recently, but Ireland has a very, very active BDS movement, it seems.
Well, yes. I mean, unfortunately, Ireland is considered to be the most hostile country in Europe towards...
Why Ireland? I mean, how did that...
Well, I think there's two issues, okay? Ireland is historically a Catholic country, not so much anymore. People have kind of done with the Catholic Church to a certain extent, but historically, unfortunately, the Catholic Church has taught what we know as replacement theology, okay, which says that the Church has replaced the Jews in God's plan for salvation. So basically...
The Irish Catholic Church?
Well, no, the Catholic Church, I'd say in general. Now, I'm not saying that, every priest, every nun, but generally
replacement
speaking,
theology.
It's called replacement theology, and it basically means that
somewhere along the lines, the church is now the chosen people.
Exactly. So that causes that's caused a lot of damage. And
it's sort of like the Jews killed Jesus type of...
Yeah. So there's a history of that. I mean, some of it is subliminal. I mean, I wasn't kind of taught that outright in school, but it's a subliminal kind of thing. You kind of think, well, the Jews don't really matter anymore. They might have been important in the Old Testament, but they're not important in the New.
In 2019.
So, exactly. So there's that kind of stuff going on. Then you have the political element. Ireland has always identified very strongly with the Palestinians, because the Irish see themselves or saw themselves historically as a very oppressed nation,
persecuted
under the British,
by the British,
and they believe
so they
that the
sort of
same
identify...
kind of thing is kind of going on. So there's this kind of empathy thing going on. So it's coming from two different angles.
Okay. Now, why do you do this? What about you personally put you in this position where you are defending Israel in Ireland?
Okay, well, I first came to Israel in 2003. I had absolutely no idea what Israel was like. I kind of had this kind of Christmas card kind of picture of, camels and, the
sand,
manger,
falafel,
that kind of thing. And I came and I was absolutely amazed at the diverse, vibrant nation that I saw, with Jews and Arabs kind of working together. One of the first places I stayed was actually in Jaffa, just up the road. And I saw, you know, a really multi-cultural, ethnically diverse nation. I was kind of blown away. So I kept coming back, and I made some very good friends from very different backgrounds. And then about, I suppose, 2005, I started noticing this. Well, no, it was a little bit later than that, but I started noticing all of the bad press, all of the really bad press about Israel, and I thought, hold on a minute, you know, this is just not true. Right. This is not the Israel that I know and love. What are they talking about? An apartheid state, calling it an apartheid state? And I said, no, you know, this is kind of ridiculous. So I didn't really do an awful lot about it until about 2014, when the last Gaza operation was, and I saw all of the stuff being written in the Irish press and online, and I thought, you know, I just cannot sit
Enough is enough.
And do nothing about this. So I started writing into newspapers and responding to people online, and that is when I got politically involved. And then I started up the organisation last year, because there was another organisation called Irish for Israel, but that guy, he got burnt out basically, because he was doing it on his own. So he said to me, look, will you set up a new organisation? And I said, yeah.
Now, do you think that Israel can win the digital battle against BDS? And what do you think that this digital community that we are proud of can do better in the fight?
Okay, well, it's about education to a certain extent. Okay, there's a lot of people out there. I'd say there's 10% of people who are just, you're never going to change their minds. Okay, they're just haters for whatever reason. And 10% are very pro, but there's a big kind
on
of
the fence.
Yeah, they just don't know, you know, and they're being fed all these lies. So one of our aims is to change the narrative in the Irish media, to try and, you know, say, look, hold on a minute, you know, this is not true. Let's look at the other side of the story. I think one of the things we can do very well is to tell stories. Okay, my background is in the literary field. Okay, I worked for a literary festival for about 10 years before I started doing this. So I know the power of storytelling, and the Irish love a good story as well. So we've got to appeal to people's emotions a bit more. I think it's all very well giving out facts and information and statistics, but you have to touch people's hearts. You have to win over people's hearts and minds. And I know the power of storytelling. So it's about telling stories about real people. You know, we always look. You see a photograph of a dead baby on a beach, and people's, you know, oh my goodness. You know, when the refugee crisis started up a few years ago, there was this iconic photograph of a little boy.
The Syrian refugees.
When
they were going to the Greek islands.
That's right. Mm-hmm. An iconic photograph, you know, and so people are concerned about people, about individuals, about, you know, so we need to tell stories about Israeli families, Jewish families, you know, about how they are coping and how they are reacting, and just to get that out more into the Irish media, to try and get people to relate more, to empathize more, to develop. That's how I did it.
Now you live in Europe. You're familiar with the Eurovision contest, which Israel won last year, and because of Israel's victory, we are hosting the Eurovision here in May, this coming May. Have you heard any Eurovision boycott talk in Ireland or anything about?
Oh yes. The BDS movement in Ireland launched a huge campaign to try and stop Ireland participating in the Eurovision. They had petitions where, you know, they were trying to get thousands
They were unsuccessful.
of signatures. They were unsuccessful, yes, they were unsuccessful. RTE has sent a very nice young lady, Sarah McTiernan, and she is representing Ireland in the Eurovision. In fact, I think she was here just this week to,
right.
to
all
do
the delegations.
the rehearsals. Yeah.
Well, we wish her the best of luck.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.